In a quiet small town, a humble carpenter named Caleb yearns to create something extraordinary for God. When the town council asks him to design a community center, Caleb faces doubts, challenges, and setbacks that test his faith. With each prayer, Caleb commits his work to the Lord, trusting that God will guide his hands. As unexpected help arrives and the project takes shape, Caleb discovers the power of faith, perseverance, and community. This is the inspiring story of a carpenter whose commitment to God turns a simple dream into a masterpiece that blesses generations to come. Nestled in the serene countryside, a humble carpenter named Caleb lived a quiet and steady life. Caleb was known for his craftsmanship, creating tables, chairs, and cabinets that seemed to breathe life into the homes they adorned. Though his work was admired, Caleb yearned for more than just good craftsmanship. He dreamed of building something extraordinary that would bring glory to God. But life was not easy. Caleb often struggled to make ends meet, and his little workshop frequently echoed with prayers of frustration. "Lord," he would plead, "I want to do something meaningful, but I feel so small. How can I make a difference?" One Sunday at church, the pastor spoke on Proverbs 16:3. "Commit your actions to the Lord, and your plans will succeed." The verse struck Caleb deeply. That evening he knelt in his small workshop and poured out his heart to God. "Lord, I commit my work to you. Whatever I build, let it be for your glory. Guide my hands and help me trust in your plan." Not long after, Caleb was approached by the village leader, Mr. Hargrove. "Caleb," he said, "we're planning a community center for the village, a place where people can gather, learn, and worship. Would you consider designing and building it?" Caleb was stunned. A project of this magnitude was beyond anything he had ever done. His hands trembled at the thought of such responsibility, but he remembered his prayer. "Yes," he replied, "but only if we dedicate it to God." With that, Caleb began sketching plans. Each morning he started his day in prayer, asking for guidance and inspiration. Slowly but surely, the vision for the community center took shape. A simple but elegant structure with a large meeting hall, smaller rooms for classes, and a small chapel with a cross carved into the door. The journey was far from easy. Caleb faced countless challenges. The funding for materials fell short, forcing him to rely on donated wood and supplies. The weather was unkind, with storms delaying progress for weeks. Worst of all, Caleb faced doubt, not only from himself but also from others in the village. "This is too ambitious," one neighbor said. "You should stick to making chairs." Another added, "What if it collapses?" "People will blame you, Caleb." Caleb felt the weight of their words, but he turned again to Proverbs 16, verse 3. Each evening he prayed over the worksite, surrendering his fears to God. Slowly the pieces began to come together. One day, as Caleb was struggling to raise a beam into place, a young man named Elias, who had recently moved to the village, approached him. "Need a hand?" Elias asked. Elias turned out to be a skilled builder, and he quickly became Caleb's right-hand man. News of their partnership spread, and soon other villagers came forward to help. Some brought tools, others donated time, and a few even brought meals to keep the workers energized. Caleb realized that God was answering his prayers through the hands and hearts of others. Months later, the community center was completed. The villagers gathered for the grand opening. marveling at the beauty of the structure. The walls were adorned with intricate carvings, each telling a story of faith and perseverance. The chapel, with its handmade cross, became a place of peace and reflection. As the villagers walked through the building, Mr. Hargrove turned to Caleb. "This is more than we ever dreamed of," he said. "You've given us a gift that will bless generations." Caleb smiled humbly. "It wasn't just me," he said. "I committed this work to the Lord and He made it succeed." Over the years, the community center became the heart of the village. It hosted weddings, Bible studies, educational workshops, and countless gatherings. People came from far and wide to see the masterpiece built by a humble carpenter who trusted God. Caleb often visited the chapel, where he would kneel before the cross and thank God for his guidance. He knew that his success was not measured by the building itself, but by the faith and commitment that brought it to life. Caleb's story reminds us that when we commit our actions to the Lord, no task is too great, and no dream is too small. Challenges will come, and doubts may arise, but God's plans for us are always greater than our own. As Proverbs 16 verse 3 teaches, when we align our work with God's will, we can trust that He will bring it to fruition. So whatever your dreams may be, surrender them to Him and take the first step in faith. Thank you for listening to my story. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel to listen to more heartwarming and inspirational Christian stories. See you next time